Let's talk about dealing with very bright, very high contrast situations. Now, we have all been there. You're out and about, everything looks fine to your eye, you come home, you open up your files and they end up looking something like this. As you can see in this real-life example of Anik, definitely not trying to drop a very expensive microphone. Now, why is this? This has to do with the dynamic range of your camera, the dynamic range in the file that you're trying to edit. Now, in layman's terms, what is this? The dynamic range of your file is the range between the darkest information in your file, the brightest information in there, and everything in between. Now, this is something that the human eye really excels at. We are capable of seeing tons and tons of detail, both in the darkest and in the brightest parts of the scene at the same time. This is something that electronic sensors still struggle with. Now, the way that we can cheat, so to say, as to extend the dynamic range of information that we have in a file to work with is by combining multiple files together. Long idea, short explanation. You basically take multiple photos, some underexposed, some mid-range exposed, some overexposed, and you crunch them together into one file to work with. Now, let's go into reality. Let's go grab some shots. So what better place to get some absolutely atrocious high dynamic range than a bright noon in snow, with ice and with water. So I'm here at the Weissensee. I have my Fuji X-T4. I'm gonna shoot full automatic in bracketing mode. So this thing is going to take 5 photos each time with 2 points of exposure in between them. So absolutely gut-wrenching conditions. You're expecting this to fail completely, so this should make for a good challenge for the software. Now let's take these shots into Adobe Lightroom and I'll show you how to merge them into one file with tons and tons of information for you to work with. You can see the shot of a little cute boathouse shot from on top of the ice, and I made this with full automatic settings. So this is what my camera thinks this image is supposed to look like. This is fully automatic exposure, and as you can see, we have a lot of problems here. We have really dark, crushed blacks, we have almost burned out whites, and this is going to be a very difficult image to edit, even with a good raw file. Now, if you look here, you can see that I have 5 images in my library. One of them is the automatic exposure, and then I use the bracketing function on my camera. So some cameras can do this automatically. You could do this manually as well to create 4 more shots. So one is really overexposed, another overexposed one, and then 2 underexposed ones. Now, what is the point? These really overexposed images, they have more information about the dark areas. The really underexposed images have more information about the bright areas, and I want to combine all of this information together into one file to edit. The way to do this is really easy. You simply select all of the images that you want to merge. You right click, you go down to Photo Merge, hit HDR. Now, this is going to create an HDR preview for you, which might take a little while depending on the power of your machine. There we go. All 5 images have been successfully merged and you get this little dialogue here. Let's go over what's in it and what it actually means. The first tick box is auto align. So if you have multiple photos and you have made them maybe handheld, it could be that your objects are not perfectly aligning, and this is an option that will allow the software to align the photos for you automatically. Obviously, you want to avoid needing this, so I would really advise that you use a tripod when shooting the images. The next tick box here is auto settings. Now this one does not really matter. All this does is it gives you some moved sliders in the final result that give you a good starting point to work from. You will understand what I mean once we have actually merged the image. The ghost amount. Now what is this and what is ghosting? Now this is a very static scene. We don't have moving stuff in there, but imagine we had like, I don't know, maybe a laundry line out here, and there would be a little breeze, and maybe something that's on the laundry line would have moved slightly with this breeze in and between all 5 exposures. Now what this would create is a little bit of a ghosting effect in your merge, and this is an attempt of the software to help you combat this. Now we don't need anything, so none is fine, but if you notice that you have some ghosting in your image, you could try low, medium and high and see which provides you with the best result. Now that's about all you need to know. Then we just go ahead and hit merge. This is going to take a few moments depending on the power of your machine again. And then you will see that an extra image has appeared in your library. Now this sixth one, if you just compare it side by side with the automatic exposure that my camera would have provided with me, we can already tell that the automatic one on the left hand side and then the generated one on the right hand side are quite different. The generated one has a much flatter profile, which is going to give me more leeway to work with. Now let's go ahead and open it up. So we're now on the develop panel, and then you look at my sliders here, you will see that they have already moved. This is because I ticked that box that asked Lightroom to provide me with like a good starting point. If I would not have ticked that box, they would just be in the middle. That is the only difference. So there you go. Now you're working in a merged RAW file, merged high dynamic range file, and this is just going to give you more space to push and pull, to try to recover burned out highlights, to try to recover shadows. Right then guys, so okay, this was a little simple trick. This is really easy to do, but it can really help you extend the range of your files. We're not always shooting at perfect golden hours, sunrise, sunset. Sometimes we're just out and about on a bright day. Sometimes you're trying to shoot interiors. So I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.